you used. Well, I didn't see anything.
I shared the data now. Gloria, what happened?
Okay, so you might have to reshare it. Sorry, because I think it was a mistake because you shared two files and I made like a mistake with one. Please
Okay.
just reshare it. So I'll send it immediately after class. Apologies for that, guys.
Okay.
Thank you.
But you guys now, what you should have asked on the group chat now, yeah? You should not wait till like this time around that at least you guys should have complained on the group chat that you did not practice, you could not practice, so that we could have just shared with you. You don't have to wait till now, but it's fine. It's fine. So I hope the concept of data manipulation we all understand it, right? I ought to believe we all understand the concept very well. Okay, so this week we'll be looking at we'll be talking about
Sorry,
data. Okay, go on.
concerning the data manipulation. Oh, sorry, I did not really get it.
You know,
Though I was
so
in the class, I actually watched through the recording, but I
okay.
could not still get it.
So which part of it that is not really clear to you?
Problem you.
For real,
Do you have any?
I would say every.
Okay, hold on. Before you tell me the part, do you understand what data manipulation is? When you say data manipulation, what do you understand by that?
Like
You're not.
interpretation and changing of data.
What is it? I didn't get that.
Interpretation and changing of data.
Interpretation, no. Data manipulation is not interpretation. Data manipulation is more of data cleaning. Do you understand? You are changing the form of your data. You understand? So, for example, now you are supposed to a particular column contains some mixture of two data types. Do you know what the data type is? Do you know what a data type is? Sorry, Abu Mary, are you the one talking? Just to confirm, do you know what a data type is? You are not answering.
Treasure, can you hear?
Okay. I don't know whether she's still here, but you need to understand the basic before you can understand. That's why we are trying to take the class from the very beginning. So in case you mix previous class, you might have to go back and watch those previous class so that you have a better understanding of what it is before you jump onto the next class. Yeah. So while we are still waiting for choice, so like I said, today's topic is based on understanding the SQL order of execution. So I'm looking at where I can probably share my screen. So let me see if I can join the call on my system.
Look me in the eyes, you have to today.
Coming.
Tell me how I'm feeling. I swear it, my queen. And I swear this. If you ever betray me, I'll burn you alive.
Let me see how I can join the system. Okay, so today we'll talk about data. Order of execution. So when we say order of execution, does anybody have an idea what order of execution in SQL is all about? Anyone? Those people that have experience before. Do you understand what when you say order of execution? Do we understand what we mean by that? Anyone? Please let's try and make the class interactive. It's not just about coming here. At least we should be able to engage ourselves. Does anybody have an idea of what SQL order of execution is all about? Anyone? Sorry, I can't hear you. Sorry, please, can you guys hear me? Hello.
Yeah, we can
I
hear
can
you.
see so.
Okay. You guys are now answering now. I said that. Does anybody have an idea what SQL order execution is all about? Have you guys heard about that before? Has anyone heard about that before? No. Okay. What about others? Just one person, one turn up. What about others? Glory, Abu Mary, Millian.
No, sir.
Okay, it's fine. So when we talk about, let me share my screen. I think I've been able to join about the other system. Their screen. Share. Okay. Let's see what's up. Okay, so please confirm you can see my screen. Okay, so when we talk about order of execution in SQL, right? So we talk about the fundamental concept that, as an SQL programmer, what you need to understand and the sequence in which SQL is being executed at the back end. Because if you don't understand the way SQL is being executed at the back end, sometimes you might be running into some errors and you will not understand that, okay, there's a particular way in which you are supposed to execute, execute your tasks. Do you understand? So there's supposed to be a particular way you're supposed to execute the task. So from the diagram that you are looking here, so you probably see that the way SQL is being executed at the back end is not actually the way we used to write it. In most cases, when you want to write SQL, when you want to start, you start with what? Select, right? Is that not what you would normally do? Say select from this and this. But at the back end, SQL is not executed in that way. So we need to understand how SQL is being executed, right? So now looking at this flow, the order of execution, you see that from is the first statement or the first clause, followed by join, followed by where, followed by group by, having statement, select statement, order by, and limit. This is how SQL is being executed. Now you'll be wondering that what am I saying? That select supposed to be the first. Why is select the sixth in this case? Why is it the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Why is it the fifth, right? Or the sixth? Because of the join that is here. So let's say the sixth now. Now you'll be wondering that why is it the sixth here? Actually, like I said earlier, the way SQL is being executed, right? You don't execute SQL from the select because the select is just a placeholder. By the time you write select, the select is just what? It's just a placeholder. In the real sense, right? The from statement is the first thing to execute, followed by the join state. If you are writing join in your query, the join is the next, then followed by the where statement where you filter, followed by the group by, having, then select. Select is now the next after the having, then followed by the order by and limit. You understand? Or probably you use top 5 or top 10, depending on the dialect that you are using or the flavor that you are using, either Postgres, SQL, or any of these platforms that you are using, right? So like I said, the from statement, the table you are picking from, right? The table you want to select from, or the views that you want to select from, that is the first thing, right? Then followed by what? Join. So join is the next things you want to do sometimes you might have multiple tables that you want to combine together. So you might need to use join. So join is the next in the order of execution. Then followed by what? Followed by where statement. So where is where you want to do some kind of filtering, you want to do some, all this filtering and all. Then followed by group by. So group by is when you are talking about you want to do something like aggregations. So anytime you want to do aggregations like sum, average, count, and all, so you use the group by statement. Then when we talk about having, the having statement is where you do what? You do your feature. It's also filtering, but this time around you are using the filtering on aggregation values, right? You're using it on aggregation values, then followed by the select statement. So then we have some other one like the distance, limit, offset, order by, as well that follows after the select statement. So these are the things that we'll be looking at today. So now, why are we looking at the order of execution? So it helps us to optimize query performance, right? So using understanding the aspect of understanding the order of execution, it helps us to optimize our query performance. It helps us in troubleshooting and debugging. It is easy if you can write a very good SQL and you write it in orders, right? When you are even troubleshooting, you can easily know where the problem comes from. But if you don't have a better understanding of this thing, you have a problem most of the time. It also enhances your SQL expertise. It shows that you really understand what you're actually doing. Then when it comes to writing advanced queries, right, SQL order of execution actually play a very good role in that part. So I think Choice is already on the call. So I think Choice will take over from here. I think I'm already done with the slide. So she will just probably show you the practical part of it. Choice, are you ready now?
Yes, so I just need to just share my screen. Good evening, everyone, and sincere apologies, but I had something that came up last minute, and I could not leave. I could not leave the meeting. So let me just share my screen, and we'll start implementing all what Falansha covered. So I just joined the class now, but I saw the functions Falansha covered with you on the order of execution of SQL commands. And like he explained, there's a whole lot benefits in understanding the actual, the way SQL commands work behind the scene. Because if you actually understand it behind the scene, like he said, it will be very easier for you to debug your codes and know where something went wrong, rather than just writing it as plain as it is. Because if you know that, okay, what from is meant to is actually get executed first. So you know that if your code is having an error, you know that, okay, this is because this is because I placed it wrong, or there should be something wrong with where it is fetching information from. So there's a way I want to show you guys that I believe would break everything down, like it would show clarity on everything information I've explained to you. So oh shit, this system is dead. I need to open this other one. Okay, so let me just transfer to another system. I think the previous one was dead. So we won't even take much time on this, less than 20 minutes, and I'll release you guys, because I know initially the class was meant to start by 7:30, but my fault, we are yet to 8 p.m., past 8 p.m., so I won't take much of your time anymore. But this is very important for us to cover this basic. So from next week, we'll be going deep down into more advanced SQL queries. So just give me a second, please. Let me just set this up.
We're here with Jay-Z. Jay, who's your favorite artist that you've ever worked with?
Beyonce.
How come?
She's the best. She's amazing. She's an incredible songwriter and incredible performer. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Choice. We can't hear you.
Yes, I'm with them. So I had to switch to another system because previous one I was using was dead.
Oh, okay.
So
So,
yes, I'm just trying to switch everything on here. So I'm quite on my phone right now, actually. And obviously, I can't share my screen on my phone, but I need to take them hands on all what Felicia has covered. So tonight will be a successful section.
all right, just a minute, guys. Thanks for your patience.
Okay, so while my SMS is coming up, I can also just use a notepad and cover it through because truly we don't even need to even um what I want to explain, we don't need to actually see it on code, but it would have been much better if we could see it on code. But SMS is not opening on this system. So I'm just going to share my screen now and show you with a notepad the order of the execution. Okay, please let me know if you can see my screen.
Okay, let me if you can see my screen. Okay, let me if you can see my screen. Okay,
Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can
Can
see
you see
your
SMS
great.
one. Okay. All right. So I'm sure by now most of us have I'm sure by now most of us have SSMS download and all. Okay, Fulan should have sent me something. I think I'd rather use this than SSMS because mine is not open on this system. I don't even use. Okay. Okay, so you can see this demo for this demos lab. I just know this is one of them. Okay, so the basic order of SQL queries usually go from your select statement, then your from, because initially, if you remember when we took you through the 5 types of SQL language, not necessarily 5 types, the 5 classes. We have the DDL, we have the DML, we have the TCL, and DQL. The DQL is called the data query language, and this is the actual language you use to query your database, right? And for a data query language, you only have one example in that, and that's your select statement. Whenever you're making a query from your database, you want to extract data from your database, you are 90% starting with a select statement. And your select statement will now come with the extras, depending on what you want to work on. So if it is going to be the select from the database, then if you want to filter down your selection, you have to use your where statement. Then if you want to limit the results you are bringing out, you have to use your limit. And take note, there are different database actually that host data and you can use SQL language on. And each of these different database, they use different SQL flavor, right? I know some of you might be familiar with Oracle database. The syntax Oracle database use is 80% the same. No, let's say 30% not the same as the syntax on Postgres uses. Take for example, when you want to limit the results you get on Oracle, that let's say that you have like a data with about 10,000 rows, right? And you only want to see the first 5 rows on Oracle. The syntax on Oracle will be where row num is less than 5, right? So if okay, I just press it. If you want, if I'm this is not an Oracle database, I'm not going to waste my time running it here. But we just assuming this is an Oracle database, this is the only way you'll be able to filter down to the first 5. But then this is for Oracle. But if you want to use for example SQLite as we're using right here, you can just simply use the syntax limit. So select all from demo limit 5. This is basically mean that you are selecting all from your table, limiting the results by 5. Another thing about SQL language is that even before you understand the flow of the execution, writing SQL language on its own, it's quite straightforward, right? It's just like simple English language. You're just telling it to, oh yeah, I'll select from this table and limit it by 5. As simple as that. If you want to add your filter to it, you're going to add with your where statement. And if you're if you're speaking normal English, you have to first of all select from your main table and filter down for with your where statement. Let's say I want to send someone out on an errand. I'll be like, oh, go to the market where that woman sells fish, something like that. So in this case, I'm selecting all from the main table via whatever filter you want to apply to. But then that's just writing SQL queries. The order used to write an SQL query is completely different from the order the query actually gets executed. And that's the purpose of what we're even trying to teach tonight. We're trying to teach the order of execution, not the way to write it. So if you actually do understand the order of execution, I think you actually find how to find it writing it easier. So from what Colin already explained earlier on, he already told you that if you are executing an SQL statement, the first statement that do get executed is the from statement. Why do the from statements get executed? As you can see right here in this demo, that you are selecting all from this table. Meaning, before this query gets executed, it has to first of all go into this table. And the table in this case is the demo table, right? So meaning before SQL have to do anything, it has to first of all go into the demo table, no matter the conditions we are giving to that query. So that means the from statement is going to get executed first. And if you're using a join, which I don't want to really go into this slide to make things less complicated, but if you're using a joining to another table, that join statement would also get executed first because it is also a source of the data that you are trying to retrieve. So if your from statement gets executed first, and let's say we have a where clause. Hold on, I think this has not run yet. I'm trying to see. Please function on the call. How does this lab work? Well, I'm trying to. Okay.
Well,
You
he
know
just
what?
dropped off.
What?
He just dropped off.
Oh, okay. Well, I've never used this demo lab before, but
Okay.
on the bright side, my SSMS is up and running now, so you can just make use of that. Okay. Let me just share my screen to point towards SSMS, because right there we have some data, a database that we previously even used for the former cohorts. Okay, so let me know if you can see my screen. Can you see this screen where I'm connecting to the database?
Yeah, we can see the screen.
Yes, you can see it.
Oh, okay. Let me just share my entire screen because in the midst of trying to open this thing, I think I opened the file multiple times. Okay, so the database we'll be using will be one of the database we prepared for the previous class. I think this should be this right here. So let's see the tables we have. Yeah. Okay, so I hope you can see this query right here. So if you are breaking it down, if you are looking at this line here, wait, let me be sure. How many people are like, what's your are you familiar with how database work, how tables are stored in database and whatnot? Just give a thumbs up. Let me see the reactions. Let me show how many people are following up. Okay. Okay, so just one person. Okay, so I have not found one out already. So if you see this, what I was trying to explain was that, but if you don't understand that basic, I don't think you understand what I'm saying moving forward. So if you are seeing from these three um, figures right here, you can see the Web3 analytics dot dev dot fact data. This Web3 analytics right here is the database from where this table is coming from. And this is how it is structured in SSMS. And honestly, in most other database you're going to work with, you might not necessarily see the database being called out each time, but you definitely see the schema name and the table name. And in this case, this dev is called a schema. And what the schema means is that, like now for an organization, they might have schemas of, let's say, their marketing sections and the sales sections and whatnot. Then under this section, they'll now have each individual tables. So multiple tables can be inside one schema and multiple schemas will be in a database. So if you break it down, you have your database, then your schema and your table. So in this case, this Web3 analytics right here, it's the database where this data is being hosted. Then this dev right here is the schema where the table is being hosted. Then the actual table we are querying from is called fact data. So just so that is clear. And obviously, all these here are the columns in the fact data table. And what this query did was to select the top 1,000. And you can see another syntax for filtering, meaning in SSMS, which is your SQL server, limits is not the key here. Limit doesn't work. If you want to filter down to your top 5 or top 1, you have to use the syntax top. But if you're using Postgres or if you are using Hive or using SQLite, limit would have worked just fine. And if you're using Oracle, like I mentioned earlier on, you have to filter with where row num is less than 5. So if you, depends on type of SQL database you're working with, you have to be conversant with that. So if we have changed this to select top 5, you'll see that we'll have just the first top 5 results of from this table. So it's filtered the table down to the first top 5. Now moving back to the area of discussion on how exactly this query got run. First of all, it went into the table with a from statement like I explained earlier. So after it goes into the table and directs exactly where data is being picked up from, that is when the select statement goes through. And once it selects that statement, it then filters it to the top 5 and gives you what you need, right? So in the case now, we will now to apply our where statement to filter. I know where is used to filter based on condition and what's not. So if you want to add our where statement, let's say where 7 div change is greater than let's say where M cap is greater than 10 million or whatever figure this is. No, let's do this. So in this case, if I add the filter that where SN, that's the serial number is equals to 8955, it's filtered down to the area on the table where the serial number is 8955. So if you're looking at where the order of execution, initially, just like I explained earlier, it is going to first go into the table it is getting data from. So the from statement in this case will still remain number 1. It's always this number 1. Then the where statement, where it is filtering the table down to, is going to get executed next before your select statement. Now, if you're moving a step further and you are doing a group by, I don't know if I think Folosho must have broken down how group by statements work. You know, it's a group by based on a category or group by based on just grouping it based on alike categories. So in a case where you have, let's say, a list of books, a list of, how will I explain this from here? Okay, let's say we are going to go by the date. On a particular day, the number of transactions that got happened in a day. So all the transactions for, let's say, for yesterday, you can group all of them by into one particular bucket, right? And the transaction for today, you can group them by into one particular bucket. So group by is going to return to you summary analysis of each of those categories. So if you should group by to get the sum, you can group by to get the average, you can group by to get the minimum, you can group by to get the maximum, and so on and so forth. So let's apply our group by statements here. And if you are using your group by statement, it's going to come before the group by statement is going to come before your year. Wait, so let's go from these. Group by this. You don't use your year, you have to use your having, but we are getting into that very soon. So if you are selecting this from this group by dates, then I won't complicate it with bringing having. We have to explain that first. Now there's a rule of group by. If or see all these columns that we are selecting right here, if you be grouping them by date, the rest of them have to have an aggregate, because like I said, group by is going to put everything into a category. So if you're going to be grouping by date, then every other column here, it has to be in an aggregate. And what do I mean by aggregate? Either sum, max, average, or any other scalar functions you want to add to it, right? And in this case, because we don't have much time, I'm just going to go ahead and remove some columns that I don't think we'll be needing for what we want to return back, right? So let's just remove this our cry key. Let's remove this 24-hour change. I think we should remove this change and whatnot. So it's much more easier for us to just write out what we need. So let's say for this, we'll give it a aggregate of we're also going to go by SN. So if I'm not going to give it an aggregate, you have to include it in the group by statement. So if you include it in the group by statement, then you won't need to add an aggregate to it. But in this case, we are going to add an aggregate of max to the price. We're going to add an aggregate of, let's say, average until here. So that's AVG. Average, if you spell average like this, that's for Python. For SQL, that's AVG. Then for this also, we also get to add the average. And for NCAP, let's just give me the average. Then for the C supply, we can give it the sum. Right? So now let's run this. So now we can see that our query got returned. And for each of these serial number, we have the average. Oh, one more thing. If you have added the aggregate, you have to give it an alias. Because we can see right here that all our results came out with no column name, no column name, and so on and so forth. You have to give it a new column name, because SQL will not be able to pick up the actual original column name, because you've already added an aggregate to the column. So in this case, if I've already aggregated max price, I'm going to give it an alias. So maybe I can still bring back the original name as 70 change, and as 1 minute change. Okay, so in this case, when we run this analysis now, we'll see that we're going to have our change right here. I think 37 change. Oh, sorry. Okay, so now our column names already have the names right there that we gave it. It's called giving alias or whatnot. So that's the way I'm driving to now. So in this case, how the order of execution in this case is that the from table still came first. Then it's grouped by each of the data that is found from the from. So the group by statement gets executed next before the aggregate and the select statement run. So if you understand the execution in this point, if your query should have an error, you should be able to know where exactly to go and pinpoint and know how to structure the query better to run. And not just that, in the recent time now that we are using pay as you go service on the cloud and all, the better way you structure your query to consume less compute energy is going to actually save more money for your company and actually save more resource space for you, right? So if you actually know, understand the better execution of your SQL flow, not only will you optimize your query to use less resource and to run faster, you're also going to be able to debug easily and know exactly where you have error in. I'm not really going as in depth on this as I would have loved to because we are really against time and I didn't even prepare for this class as much as I'd otherwise because I've been so choked up since morning. So I hope when we come back next time, I'm actually going to have to revisit this because there's a whole lot I didn't touch under the execution of SQL commands that will make the whole concept way easier and clearer to you. So for tonight, I'm just going to have to let us go because I did promise 8:40 we'll be off the call. And if you have any questions, you can still drop it on the group chat, and I'm going to be there and reply to it. But the next time we have a section, I'm going to go through the remaining stuff that I wanted to cover. I planned on covering for our class this evening, so you're going to understand the concept better. Is that okay? Okay, so for tonight, we just have to end tonight's call. It's already 8:45, and I think we were really against time. So once again, sorry again for how the time got crashed up and all, but it happens. It's all part of the whole stuff. So if you have any question, just tag me choice right there on the group, and I'm going to respond to it. And when next we meet, we'll still go on this call. We'll still go on this concept clearer and settle out what we didn't handle today. All right, then I think that'll be all for tonight's class, and I'll let Gloria end the call with you.
Thank you so much, Joyce. Yes, let's give some like let's show some love. Choice. So meeting. Okay now. So we're just going to I mean we don't really have the opportunity to take questions as we would like to. However, so let's send our messages and our questions to the group. So the data that Folorenshaw used last week will be sent to us. And I think this is the data Folorenshaw used last week, right? Choice.
This is the one we use for last call. It's actually, the new data is the one for sure gets sent to
Yeah,
them.
yeah. So that data will be shared to you so you can
I'm
practice.
sure, are they aware of how to back up database and all?
Yeah, they should. Wait, are you guys aware?
So if Photoshop send the database to you, you can just back it up, or you have to ingest it as a file or whatnot.
Okay. I can send a video for like database. So like just add tables to their database base. Is that okay, guys? But you should have been taught now. So if you don't know, wait, is it that you guys have not been taught about database? Like adding tables to database? Because I need an answer. Hello?
Yes, we've not been taught.
Okay, he said he has been toddler said yes. So I don't understand why I'm hearing another thing. Okay, however, it seems like some maybe a couple of you don't understand how it's done because I remember I think you've been taught honestly. So let's see how we can. Okay, I'll send video on that so it becomes easy for you. All right, guys. Thank you so much for everything. Thank you for attending the class. I hope you paid attention. I hope you learned a thing or two. We'll see tomorrow. Tomorrow we're having our class and we'll start exploring Dune analytics. and we'll start making use of our queries. I think this is a good foundation. So we'll just basically give you um, basic information on how query writing works in Dune, and we'll explore the interface together. All right, guys. Bye. Thank you so much, Choice. Thank you. That was a great class. Bye, guys.